Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel Crime Uncovered. My name is Silke Kaiser and I conduct voice stress testing, which is a truth verification examination to ascertain somebody's levels of deception when they present a certain fact or a series of events. This morning I conducted a pre-employment screening upon a very, very nice lady, and I thought, I really should do a video on what makes an employee high risk. This lady, I cannot put her forward, and I will explain why. When I do my pre-employment screenings, I look for chaos. What level of chaos is there in this person's life? Children of chaos will normally seek out chaos in their adult life because that is what they are used to. The word familiar is derived from the word family, and we seek out in our adult lives to feel the same way that we were made to feel as children. For example, about 2 years ago, I interviewed a young lady. I did suspect her of being on drugs because she was unnaturally thin, but not being an expert at all in this, I simply asked her and she denied it. As the proceedings progressed, I asked her where she was living, and she gave me the suburb, living in a little cottage there, and I asked her who she's living with, and I learned she was living with her boyfriend. He'd been living with her for 3 weeks. They'd only been dating for 5 weeks. He had to move in with her because the pit bull terriers were giving the landlord problems, and all I heard was chaos, chaos, chaos. As the proceedings progressed, she told me about her ex-boyfriend, whom she'd stayed with for 8 years, and he was a raving drug addict, in her words, not mine, and she felt that he was going to die soon. In fact, she asked me, do I think he's going to die soon? I told her I really don't know. I am not psychic. And I asked her again, do you take drugs? And she denied it. I told her I do not believe you because birds of a feather flock together. We will not date somebody for 8 years and not at least try drugs at one point, which she denied even trying once. However, I want to discuss something else today. The lady I interviewed today has 2 young sons, and it reminds me so much of a tenant that I once had. And these 2, when I say young, I'm talking adults. They're 19 and 22. And they are both using cat every single day. They have been to many, many rehabs. The moms out there, the dads out there that are listening, family members out there, your drug addicts, many, many rehabs later, they eventually have to hit their own rock bottom and say, okay, I'm done putting down the drugs, I'm choosing life. Her children are not at that space. Her children will in fact often cause fights with her just so that she will give them money for drugs. It's very common of mothers of drug addicts to do this. I don't want the mothers to feel bad. I'm going to tell you now why you do this. This mother, one of the children, is living with her at the moment, and he is displaying, I always say they behave like narcissists and sociopaths. Narcissists and sociopaths have a toddler mentality. They stamp their foot in rage if they don't get their own way. I asked this mother, what is your relationship like with these children? And she said she really does struggle, and she really was displaying victim mentality. But I think she feels as if she's being a martyr and a good mom when she enables her children. I do suspect that a lot of these mothers, such as this mother, is codependent with her children. There's a lot of toxicity and a lot of dysfunctional attitudes and dysfunctional behavior in those relationships. The mothers worry about these children a lot. And what I have found that they do, sorry, I'm just adjusting my leg. They will phone their drug addicted children constantly. This is part of their codependency. And if the voice of the child is not right, or if the words are not right, and then that mother doesn't have the feeling that she wanted to obtain when she first made that phone call, she will phone again. And in the end, some of these mothers will phone their drug addicted children 50 times a day. And unfortunately, the work phone is used for this. The health of the company is always my top priority when I conduct a pre-employment screening. Codependent mothers, it almost feels to me as if they are trauma bonded to their children. Fathers, obviously, just as worried, but I do find that they react a little bit differently and a little bit more logical, and often their stance is tough love. Let him put himself into rock bottom and let him pick himself up eventually. I'll be here to pick him up when he wants to be picked up. But mothers are there picking up all the time. and they're wasting their time. Children are not ready to put down the drugs. This lady also told me that the one son is dating a young lady. She's pregnant now. There's no money. She herself has not worked for almost a year. And there is just so much chaos, unwise decisions, total irresponsibility. I also know that a lot of mothers, because they've told me, I did a lot of interviewing at one stage, I researched this phenomenon of drug addiction and the effect it has on families. A lot of mothers will sleep with the Nigerian drug dealers. Shocking, but I know that they do this. They sleep with the Nigerian drug dealers so they can get drugs for their children because they just want that peace. Their children will scream and carry on, demanding that the mother gives them the money for the drugs. And mothers will sometimes get into their cars and score drugs for their children in the middle of the night, especially there in Kempton Park. That seems to come up a lot because there's a lot of Nigerian drug dealers there. This trauma bonded relationship is quite a serious thing, and it is normally between female to male, but it can be the other way around. So the pronouns can be interchangeable, meaning she, he. I also found that when there's been a robbery or a burglary in our home, I will often ask who stays on the property. Is there a tenant there? Is there a helper there that stays there with their son? I'm sorry, the boys are really getting a bad rap today, but this is a fact of the matter. I'll talk about girls later on and how they present youthful misbehavior. So when there's been a robbery or a burglary, and if there's a helper or a tenant with a young son, my questions are they between the ages of 14 and 23? Is there a strong father figure? Are they attending school regularly, or are there low levels of education here? And do these children hang out with delinquent children, other children? Often the answer is yes. And again, that is chaos. So that is one of the factors that would make an employee high risk. There are other factors, and I will discuss them in another video. Have a great day, y'all.